Ladies and gentlemen, the Bit of It Show.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Katrina Covington, and welcome to another edition of The Confident Learner. This broadcast is coming to you live from no other place than Swaddlebrook High School, where we are soaring to excellence. Today I'm going to talk to you about a controversial topic that is much needed, e-resources. I'm going to give space for my listeners to call and chime in on the discussion because e-resources is a topic that I think every librarian in charge of collection development really needs to begin to consider. There has been an ongoing debate as to which kind and how many books and materials should be converted to e-resources. Many people have their opinions. They love the printed page. They would prefer the on-screen edition, the convenience. Research has shown there is a wide divide based on age, professional disability, and personal preferences. So we have a lot to consider when we are thinking about if we want to convert to e-resources. I think that Kate B. Moore in her article, Are We There Yet?, made some great points as in terms of online learning. Moving to e-resource collection development, for one thing, in the online community is an increasing and more prevalent thing that is going on in grade schools and secondary education. And since it is the responsibility of the institution to provide their students with access to materials, it is only fair that the collections that are available in the library, the physical library, be also available online for those students as well. With that, there comes issues of budgetary issues. If we have enough money to pay for all of the online conversions that is needed to replicate what is available in the library. And it's simple that we are going to, it's simple but it's complex. One thing that is simple is the fact that as a librarian, I know that my school needs to update its budget to include e-resources, because this is something that has not been included in the past in the library budget, as well as the collection development policy is going to have to be updated to include e-resources. I thought that it was a great pointer when Kristen N. Turner, she pointed out that one thing that libraries can do is participate in consortial contracts, and this is where libraries are jointly working together to provide access, and it will allow them to access data that they normally wouldn't be able to afford individually. Likewise, Rochelle Davis did a presentation at the University of West Indies, and she suggested that utilizing the trial versions to the fullest and also taking advantage of things like open access can greatly reduce costs in terms of converting your library collections to e-resources. But what about accessibility? I know personally that one thing that a lot of companies that are supporting e-resources and converting some of their products to e-resources are leaving out one important thing, and that is the text-to-speech feature. And this is something that is very near and dear to me, because I have had the privilege of working with students that will be labeled hard of hearing, or students that have a problem with reading abilities and reading levels, difficulties. This text-to-speech feature greatly helps our children. And if they decide they want to use that e-resource but can't because they don't have that feature, that is going to paint e-resources in a material in a negative light for our patrons. Then there's that whole thing with the age gap. Kate B. Moore also talked about how 62% of the students age ranging from 16 to 24 actually prefer to read print books. And this was something that really shocked me, by the way. But 27% of undergraduate, and check this out, 49% of graduates prefer reading ebooks. And this made me think about myself as a student. And I recall that as an undergraduate, I most definitely, hands down, would have said that I would prefer to read a printed book instead of an ebook because I like the interaction with the pages. However, as a graduate student, I am more so prone to use ebooks because it's convenient. I have become used to using technology by way of my smartphone and iPad. I'm at the point where ebooks is something that is a preference for me. And I also thought it was interesting in Kate B. Moore's article where a study was done and it showed that students really only use ebooks to do research for research purposes. I found that very interesting. However, for me, I like it for the convenience. I like because it's always there, it's available, it's at my fingertips, and I like it because I don't have to worry about germs and the bed bug problem that we have occasionally when we loan books out publicly. Folks, librarians, we have a very important job in technical services when it comes to ebooks, and Janice Newman in her article School Collection Development and Resource Management made a excellent point when she stated that the highest and most important job as a school librarian is technical services and collection development. Because, folks, despite the guidelines, despite the explicit standards, we still have not developed a widespread practice of promoting digital resources. This is important because as librarians, we have a role that connect classrooms to the learning. Dana Thomas in the Mashed Up Librarian e-resources has stated that creating partnerships between public service and technical services is a new role that we have as technical services librarians. This helps us to get a deeper understanding of our patrons because we have that background of the metadata systems and we are able to instruct patrons in techniques and precision searching. And so we learn more about the behaviors of our patrons and their expectations concerning library technologies, and this will help us to be more intuitive and be able to tap onto those characteristics that Janice Newman noted was something that a 21st century learner has, such things as being a multitasker and being collaborative. But what do you think, folks? I'm going to open up the lines for comments and discussions. What do y'all think? Are we there yet? Are we ready for e-resources as librarians and technical services? Do we need to fully convert our collections to e-resources? And what about the collection development policy? What needs to be in that to cover e-resources? Please let me know. Call me 667-0500, 667-0500. I'm looking to hear from you.